My name is Rafaela Buena, and today I'm on the streets of Amsterdam because it's Celiac Awareness Month. I'm gonna talk to somebody who's super special because not only does she have celiac disease, she's also an advocate. She created groups and she encourages people to go through the process of discovering if they have celiac disease and then how to deal with it. You could think celiac disease is just about avoiding some kinds of food and being the picky person at a cafe who does not eat gluten and ask if the muffin is gluten-free. No, it's much more than that. There is a lot of social aspects. It's about relationships that we have with people, and navigating that in our work with a relationship with somebody can be really difficult. It also depends the country that you live in. It just gets very tricky. So today we're in the Netherlands. We're going to approach a little bit how is it to be celiac here and how is it to be traveling, but also our day-to-day lives. So Charlotte is my guest today. I'm gonna wait in a very special place today. This is Oosterpark in Amsterdam, and here by the rocks I'm gonna wait for her and let's have just an honest conversation about being celiac and having celiac disease. So do join me. This is another episode of Street Smart. Amazing. Charlotte, so how are you today? How's everything?
I'm good. I'm a little bit tired, but the sun is out and we're in Oosterpark, so I'm very good. Yeah.
So
how are you?
I'm very good. It's, you know, like last year when the year turned, I always do this little, okay, what do I want for this year? And last year it was, I do not want to get gluten once. I will watch out for this year to be like completely, I am not getting gluten. That is not gonna happen. And I did. It was a whole year of not going through the pains of being gluten.
That's amazing. Snaps for that.
Did you manage to? How was your past year?
No, I got gluten 2 months ago though.
Oh, 2 months ago even. Oh shoot.
Yeah, but it was a slight cross-contamination.
Oh, yeah.
So it was kind of okay. I've been sick for 2 weeks, I think. So it was, yeah.
So let's explain that actually, because I bet many people don't know about celiac disease. They maybe know that some people will eat gluten. Maybe they even think, oh, people eat gluten just because it's a trend or something.
Yeah, you maybe want to lose weight or you want to be healthy. Yeah, no, that's not how it works.
What is celiac disease? How do you describe it?
It's an autoimmune disease. So basically, if you eat gluten, your body will attack itself.
Yeah.
And you will just get very sick.
Yeah.
But the difficult with celiac disease is that there are so many different symptoms, and it's not always just about the tummy.
Yeah.
You know, so some people just get sick, they get diarrhea, they get a lot of headaches, but other people just get depressed.
Yes.
And they will just be depressed and they have no stuff going on in their gut. And I think that's the difficult thing about celiac.
Yeah. That you don't know where it's coming, right? And you can be misdiagnosed and medicated for something completely different. And in the end, it's just removing gluten from your diet.
Yes, and all the gluten. So the thing that makes it so difficult is that 10 milligrams, which is not even the size of a crumb, is enough to make you very sick.
Whoa.
And you can be sick for 4 days or you can be sick for a few weeks, and that's what makes it super difficult.
Yeah. Okay, so it's basically our body attacking ourselves, and it's an inflammation, right? So your whole body can get inflamed. Is it something that happens only at the childhood, only for kids? No.
No. I was 26 when I found out that I had celiac.
Okay.
But I think I already had celiac for maybe 26 years as well. So it's not just a kid thing.
Yeah,
unfortunately. Some people get diagnosed when they're 50.
Whoa.
For example, my mom, she was well, it was 5 years ago, so I think she was 55 when she found out she had celiac.
Oh my goodness. You found out first or her?
Yeah, I found out first. And then it was for her just a big answer. Oh, my daughter is always sick. That's why.
Okay.
Maybe that's also what's wrong with me. So
did she have similar symptoms? So you mentioned a couple of symptoms, right? So people can get diarrhea, they can get a lot of muscle pain, headaches, depression, as you said. What is your case? What are your symptoms?
Brain fog. I think that's by far the worst. I swell up like it's like I'm 9 months pregnant, like a baby is waiting to pop out of me.
Yeah.
So that's very awkward in some situations because people look at your stomach and they're like, I know what's inside, and I'm like, yeah, you don't. You really don't.
Yeah.
The brain fog, that's absolute the worst. And migraines. I get very bad migraines and headaches, and it goes on for days, like days with just headache.
Because you can't work, you cannot do assignments, you can't like go to that interview and be amazing if you have brain fog, right?
No, there are the most simple words, and I cannot, looking at all the rocks. If I were sitting here with a brain fog, I'd be like, yeah, that thingy, the gray thingy over there. So that's when I have a brain fog, it's all about, I have to point everything out or say, the thing, the thingy, water comes out of it.
Oh my God.
And then I just mean the tap.
Whoa.
Or the sink or anything.
That's incredible. And you had that before you found out of celiac, or did those things start after you started eating gluten-free? No, you were living with those things.
I was not really living with all of these things. I was living with the headache, and I had a migraine for like two days a week. I think 2 times a week.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's the main thing that I remember. I always had a headache, and then when I was a kid, I would say, oh, I have a headache, but also I was still happy. I was still cheerful. I would still play. I would still sing a lot of songs, and then people were like, you sure you have a headache? Yeah, I had a headache, but you learn to live with it.
Yes, exactly.
I think that's the whole thing about celiac, because it's also a social disease. So you basically, you learn to live with it, but it doesn't make it easy though.
No, it doesn't. For me, what happened was 30 years, I had what you were saying. You learn how to live with it. And since I didn't know any different, I thought life was just like that. And after I discovered about celiac disease, so almost 4 years ago, I was 30, my 30th birthday. What a big surprise, like you're changing a decade and also discovering about a major thing about myself.
Oh my.
And it was... as you said, like so many things from the past now got an answer. Okay, now this is why I have all this muscle pain. I would go to doctors since I'm 27 to ask, why do I have so muscle pain? Why can't I, like I'm so sore. I would also get pain on my feet that I couldn't walk, super pain on my knees. So I would have these ups and downs. Okay, now this week I just cannot.
Wow.
And in Brazil, it was not that bad at all. I don't even remember to have so bad symptoms, except that when I was growing up, they always thought, why is she underweight? I could never put on weight, never. Then the pediatrician, she's malnourished. They would change my diet somehow and just give me supplements, try to make me gain weight. Nothing would work. And they even thought I was anemic for a while. I also broke my arm very young age because I imagine because my bones were not that strong.
It's a thing with celiac though. It's legit a thing. So, wow.
So all of that. And when I moved to Europe, my diet changed. So I was living in Germany, so it was a lot of pasta, a lot of bread.
A lot of bread.
Yes, a lot of pizza, like all of that. And in Brazil, we would eat more rice, beans, salad. And yes, I would eat gluten, but it was just not the same amount as here. So when I moved, first thing, tiredness. I would go to university and I had to sleep every day at noon. And I'm like, okay, I know that this is something common in Brazil, that we do the siesta, but I should get over it after a couple of months.
Yeah.
But no, I was super tired. I couldn't manage. I would even go to the doctor and ask, why am I every day so tired? And they said, oh, maybe you can have some caffeine pills. So I was just taking caffeine pills to get over the day. Drinking one Monster energy drink a day.
No.
To manage.
Oh my God.
Can you believe that?
Your poor body.
I know. At least I was young. So my body is still like inflamed, but having to deal with all of that. And then 30th, I remember my ex-partner made some pizza and some pizza bread out of it. So we were eating that same dough for like 4 days in the shape of pizza and then pizza bread and then extra. And when it was Monday, so 3 days of eating that stuff, I was just like huge belly. I couldn't move. Everything was hurting and hurting and
Everything was happening at the same time.
Yes. And I was like, no, I have to go to the doctor. And I knew somebody who was celiac. So she told me about her story. And even one time I told her, oh, I have this and this and that. She's like, sounds like celiac disease. So I went to the doctor, and the doctor said, no, this is a urinary infection.
Yeah, that's why your muscles in your shoulders are hurting,
Yeah, well,
right?
I also weren't connecting, but yeah, she said urinary infection and take some antibiotics. So I took them, and after a couple of days, I went to the doctor. I was like, I hate this, but I know I have celiac disease, but I was hating it because accepting the diagnosis is really hard, actually.
Yeah.
And I told the doctor, could you please test me for celiac? She did the blood test. It was in Germany, and there was the number that was the level normal as a reaction to gluten was 60, and mine was 700.
Oh,
So
yeah.
it was like, okay, no doubt, girl, we know what it is.
Yeah.
Stop eating gluten right away.
Yes. And what then?
So
what happened then? Because did they tell you how to?
No. In Germany, I got no real nobody really helped me through it, teach me or anything. It was the internet. So I went on Reddit, Gluten-Free subreddit, and Celiac subreddit. And that's when I learned, okay, you also have to change the stuff in your kitchen. And slowly I started doing it. I think I got rid of my toaster actually a long time later, because first I thought, oh, if I just shake it and clean it,
the crumbs will go down and that's enough.
Yeah, it's not enough. I learned that, and yeah, everything changed. I don't have any more back pain. I've never had those problems with my feet ever again. I don't even understand how that was possible. My knees got much better. I dance, I jump, I do sports, like no issues.
Amazing.
Here I still like have pain, but you know, I was even going to the physiotherapist because of the pain.
Yeah.
And he was doing all this stuff with my neck and still like not helping. And after stopped eating gluten, just relaxed. But the biggest part was actually the thing that blew my mind was that it sort of changed my personality, because I got so much more chill. And I was like, I can be chill, like I don't have to be worried, I don't have to be on edge all the time. It was new to me. I've never experienced that, and I can just even be in a park and just be like, oh good.
Yeah, because your body is relaxed. Your body is not anymore in a state of survival.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I think your mind
Yeah.
is also not in that state anymore. Because it's survival.
Yeah.
Your body is surviving until, you know, it clicks and you're like, oh, maybe it's gluten.
And how was it for you? How was your process of going from eating gluten to then?
It was terrible.
Oh no.
Because I am a really big fan of a lot of things that have gluten. I was a big fan of the Dutch white bread with hagelslag on it and a lot of butter.
Is it the little sweet crumbs, or what is that?
The sweet chocolate sprinkles.
Yeah. Oh, they're so good. Some are gluten-free though.
That's true, but
not the bread.
Half a year later, I also found out that lactose and milk are not for me, sadly. So it was because I also love cheese, so that was very hard as well. But yeah, I was sick for about a year. It was 2019 that year. I was sick for about a year, couldn't work anymore.
With the brain fog and
and the tiredness. I forgot that one, but it was such a big one. So I slept 4 hours a day. I woke up around 9, went back to bed around 12 in the afternoon, slept until 4, and then my partner came home and we had dinner, and around 9 I went to bed again, and that was basically my life for a very long time.
And that's why what you were saying, that it can lead to depression, because then people cannot, why can't I function? I want to do things, but your body is saying,
Yeah, it's also a very social disease because of that, because you have to say no a lot of the times, especially if you don't know what's happening with your body. Why am I feeling sick all the time? Yeah, I cannot do that because I'm too tired. I cannot do that. It can lead to an isolation as well. Yeah. But
so you were sick for a year, like you already had some symptoms as a kid, and now this 1 year was
it just blew up. Whoa. I gained a lot of weight all of a sudden. I was very skinny.
Which is counterintuitive, right?
Yeah, because normally it's the other way around. Yeah. You just have your weight and then you just start to lose a lot of weight. Yeah. But in my case, my body went into this extreme state of survival.
Yeah.
So instead of losing weight, it was like, okay, everything I'm eating, I would just, hoard it as if it, and,
Yeah.
make it fat or something. So
I
gained
it
a
was
lot of
absorbing
weight.
more energy.
It was absorbing everything I ate.
Wow, crazy.
Yeah, and then, I started noticing, my stomach blowing up,
Yeah.
getting bloated, and then I figured, maybe it's gluten. It's either cheese or it's the gluten.
And it was you also, like no doctor.
It was no doctor. No, because I was at the Dutch Burning Man
Okay.
in 2019, and there were a lot of people in my surroundings saying, why is she going to a festival but she cannot work? That's wrong. But I needed to get out.
Yes.
And then we were
I
there.
hate those things.
Yes, it was so mean.
Yeah.
And then this one morning, I think it was the second or the third day, we were just sitting there vibing, and I was like, I don't feel so good. And it just started to go from I don't feel so good to, okay, I can't really move my arm anymore. Oh, my heart started to hurt.
No.
And I guess it was hyperventilation, but it had all the symptoms as if I had a heart attack. So they called an ambulance for me, and they brought me in this little cart. They brought me to the front of the gate, and the ambulance came, and it had the sirens on and everything. And they put me on this thing, and they were just like listening to my heart. And they said, no, but everything is fine. Did you use something? No, I didn't. Are you sure? Yeah, I'm very sure. I didn't use anything. I didn't drink anything.
Yeah. Since you're in a festival, that's what they're thinking, right?
And I get it. I get that they were thinking it, but but they couldn't find anything. So after
they think of it.
They did a lot of tests. Nothing was wrong with my heart. It was all just my body going to the survival state.
Yeah.
And then I think it was after lasagna one night.
Oh.
When I thought, it might be the gluten or the cheese. So I went to the doctor.
Yeah.
And I asked, please test me. I think I cannot eat any gluten.
Same like me. Asking the doctor, please test me. I think that's it. So what happened after the festival? You go to the hospital and you're not having a heart attack, clearly?
Well, I didn't have the heart attack, but I already found out in the ambulance. So they were like, oh, no, we think you're fine. You can just go back. Just relax. So I went back to the festival. Still had a good time, but they said you should drink a lot of water, stay out of the sun. So that's what I did, basically.
Yeah. Oh, gosh. Oh,
yeah.
No.
That was a big one.
How was the process of accepting it, of changing your life around it?
Well, I think one of the most hardest parts about celiac is that you have to go through the grief.
Yes.
The
so
grief.
important.
And I think everyone with celiac disease knows the grief. Maybe not the people who've had it since they were a baby. They don't know.
Yeah.
But that's, I think, in a way, good for them. Good that they don't know. So it maybe makes it a little bit more easy to accept.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was very difficult. I went back to my parents.
Really?
They rebuilt the whole attic for me. So I still live with my parents, but it's amazing. Nice. So they were like, yeah, you're sick, you're tired, just come home. We'll take care of you. Nice. So that was amazing. And then my mom found out she had it as well. So we were kind of in the same, how do you say that?
Journey of learning.
We had the same journey. And it was the year of COVID as well. Because 2020 had started and
Wait,
COVID
it was the
happened.
same year I found out.
Oh my, what?
Oh, that's fun. Okay. Okay. We're in two parts of the world experiencing the same things.
In the same year.
Yeah.
How? But yeah. So COVID happened,
Yeah.
and I found out there was this Dutch Celiac Society.
Yeah.
So I decided to join them.
Nice.
But then COVID happened. So they had this youth group, Celiactives.
Yes.
And I was like, oh, I can join them. So I went to this gala dinner, which was very nice.
Ooh.
And I had a little bit of a fancy dress, and there was good food, and I met some people. And then the lockdown came.
Yeah.
So there were no more activities, no more people that I could meet. It was just me in my little island.
Yeah.
So that was very, very difficult. And I had to do a lot of, searching online on Google to find stuff out. I went to a dietist, I think.
Yeah, nutritionist maybe, or
Yeah, but didn't really like her. So she was trying to make me feel bad, I think, about celiac, because she said, "Yeah, I've seen people who have it worse than you have it," and I didn't feel like that was very fair because everyone has their own journey.
Yes, absolutely.
And everyone has their own symptoms. So why is someone else's experience, it's different from mine. It's not necessarily worse or better. It's just different. And we all still have the grief.
Yes.
So I didn't go back there.
Was it helping you with, right? To say
It
something
wasn't,
like that?
no.
It's, what is her goal of saying it?
Yeah.
It makes no point.
Yeah, so that was kind of weird. But
Totally.
she told me some things that I could try instead of, you know, gluten, because I didn't even know what gluten were.
Yeah, me neither.
So it's like,
okay, what is gluten? Let's tackle that part. What is gluten?
Oh, how do you say that in English? I think it's the egg whites in certain grains.
Okay.
Basically. Wheat,
Yeah,
rye, barley, some in oats as well, or the oats itself, like oatmeal or something, doesn't contain any gluten, but it may contain gluten, and that's the cross-contamination part.
Yeah, exactly.
That's super difficult.
That's why when we list them, oats is always there. It's not because oats has gluten, but why do they mix it, right? They always process it in the same factories, I guess?
No, it's a different story. At least what I've heard, it's a different story.
Tell me.
So you have oats, they grow here. And then you have wheat that grows here.
When
so
they're growing.
You know, it's a lovely warm day and there's a little bit of wind and leaves, and some of the wheat may, you know, take their own journey into the oat. So that's why it's not labeled gluten-free. It's only, the oat is only gluten-free if it has the label gluten-free on it. So that's one of those stories. And now the same with lentils.
Yeah. Here the lentils, I can never find lentils. I'm like, why is every lentil may contain gluten?
Yeah, well, I think it's the same story. I don't know how lentils grow, so that might be a fairy tale, but I think it is something similar with that.
And you know, like everywhere, this is a call out just now to Oatly. Because Oatly, you're everywhere. We love you, Oatly. We love your branding. We love the packaging. We love your story. We love the purpose. But you're gluten.
Yeah, we would love to love your drink as well, Oatly, please.
Please, because we're then the next level of picky, because we not even like lactose. I also don't drink milk. So we go to this cafe, we're like, do you have another kind of milk? And then yes, I have oat milk. Which one? Oatly. Oh no.
Amazing, but thank you. Do you have anything else?
Exactly. Oh yeah, so hard. So you got some tips on how to change some aspects of your diet? Did you just try to make your own bread, or how was it for you?
I bought it all in store for about a year.
Okay.
And I think it was summer of 23. Yeah, no, it was winter 23, and I was kind of managing.
3 years later.
So 3 years later, jump forward. I was managing, and the world, you know, started again. Everything was happening, and I saw this call for a board member on Celiac, and I was like, I want to do that, but I'm 29. I am a little bit old because it's from 18 to 28. But then I thought, and it was still there a few months later. And then I thought, yeah, I should just apply. They can always say no, but they can also say yes.
Exactly.
So
I love that mindset.
That really opened a lot of doors because, you know, I mentioned before, it's a social disease.
Yeah.
A lot of the time, it feels like it closes doors as well. If people want to be spontaneously, if they want to go out for dinner, just let me check. Where do we want to go? You have to call them. You have to check Find Me Gluten-Free or one of the other apps. I didn't even know Find Me Gluten-Free existed until I was talking to one of the board members from Celiac, and she said, oh, Find Me Gluten-Free is amazing. And I said, wait, what is Find Me Gluten-Free? And I think just, you know, getting to know other people beside my mom, that was the best thing that could have happened to me. That just opened my doors, and basically it felt like I got a ticket to life. Like I got my life back. Yeah, for real. That's how it felt. It was so, I felt so isolated, and you know, with my family, they're different. Let's just say they're different from me, and they don't take celiac disease seriously.
Oh, that happens so often, especially in family members. They're
Yeah.
like, oh, they even say, oh, I made this, it's gluten-free, and then it's not.
Yeah. So that it felt so isolating because I was also the only one, gluten-free in the family with my mom. And then I met all these new people, and they were all my age,
Yes.
and they could tell me so many things, and it was just like I got my ticket back
Amazing.
for life. Yeah, it was.
Because it's a social disease in terms of you are going to social places, you're going to have a dinner, but if you are in any space, we cannot make it really alone, because somebody can just put their knives on our jam, inside our jam, and then we will be sick for weeks.
You have to think about everything.
Yes, and other people need to, okay, let's be empathetic and let's help it out. And as celiacs is also, so to say, our job to say, hey, this is what you can do to help me. But if we're sharing the fridge, if we're sharing the kitchen space, I heard one person got super gluten because her, sort of partner, he didn't really clean the pan of pasta, and a little bit of pasta was glued on the pan, and then she used that to cook her food, and she was sick for weeks. So.
Yep, that's basically the story of a celiac. And I think one of the things I don't really like about celiac is that you always have to be on. Yeah. The only time when you don't have to be, on top of everything is when you're in your own safe bubble, when you maybe live alone or with a partner who also eats gluten-free. That's the only time when you don't have to be on edge about stuff. Wherever you go, when we go bowling, bowling is a thing with celiac people, because a lot of people in the Netherlands, they eat the bitterballen, they eat the croquette, or they eat the frikandel. They all contain gluten. If they put their hands after the beer and the bitterball in the bowling balls, you can get cross-contamination.
Yes.
That's the thing that a lot of celiacs think about. Like, oh my God, cross-contamination. Or, when someone eats bread and they touch something, is that thing now unsafe for me? Stuff like that. It goes so far.
It goes very far.
People don't see that. They just think, okay, she cannot eat gluten, that's it. No, that's not the end of it. That's just the beginning of the first chapter of a whole book about how we need to live our lives.
I remember once I was in a wine festival with some friends, and here in Amsterdam.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Okay.
And as you said, like the typical foods that they would serve would be also like very gluten heavy. And okay, they're having their own thing. I actually ate before, had my snack with me, all fine. I'm here for the wine. And it's hours into the festival already. We had some wine, and one of them bought a big bottle, and we were all drinking. And then he drinks from the bottle.
Oh no.
And he's like, here, do you want? I'm like, now I can't. I just cannot drink from the bottle anymore. And I remember his face, because he just went super serious. He's like, it's that serious? Like, is that like the level of like caring that you have to pay attention to? Yes. Like, even if you're drunk, if you're having a good time, if you're at a festival, if you're whatever, you have to be watching. If you're super stressed out, you have to be watching. There is no moment of just going about life without, like you said, planning where am I gonna eat. If I'm gonna go to a festival, sometimes most of the times they don't allow you to bring food and bring stuff in. Because they say you should buy our things. But do they offer celiac-friendly stuff?
Do they offer celiac-safe drinks as well?
Also.
Because a lot of the time, bartenders have beer on their hands, or when you just go to a bar. There's this amazing bar in Utrecht.
Okay.
It's called Body Talk. It's a gay bar. I really like it there. I love to go there. But then I started thinking, is, just how every bar cleans their glasses with the Swiffer-ish thingies. Is that safe?
I don't think so, yeah.
So that's,
and it's also plastic sometimes, so also enters the plastic.
And now there's this new development going on where they have plates made out of wheat.
And straws.
And that's very dangerous as well.
Good for the environment, but
very good. But
now we suddenly cannot have anything.
No, I was in Athens.
Okay.
Was it? Yeah, it was last year. I was in Athens for the Dutch Celiac Society.
Really? Oh.
I was together with another girl, and we went for the celiactive part, so for the youth department, to the Celiac Youth Europe. And we had this seminar, and we were talking about micro, how do you say that? Degradable? No.
Yeah, biodegradable.
Biodegradable
Yes.
plates, straws.
Yes.
And they were talking about how everyone is using wheat, and how people don't take it seriously. Like, they don't see that it's dangerous. So I said, maybe we should not only talk about celiac here. Maybe we should talk about all the 14 big allergens. Maybe we should talk about peanuts, because there will not be one simple manufacturer that will make plates out of peanut shells, because people die from it. Maybe instantly.
Yes.
We don't die from it right away. But every time you get glutens, you die a little bit faster than you were supposed to.
Yeah.
And that's what people don't see. No, we don't have an EpiPen, so people don't take it seriously.
Exactly.
But what helps though?
Okay.
I found this, I read it somewhere, I tried it, and I love it. So this is a big hack for everyone who has.
Okay, I'm interested.
Treat the gluten like it's chicken.
Wait, what?
Raw chicken. Yeah, for real. Because if you were to prepare raw chicken, what would you do? Would you take the same knife
No.
and slice a piece of, I don't know.
Oh God, please no.
No, you wouldn't slice a piece of bread after you sliced raw chicken. Would you wash your hands after you touched raw chicken, before you touch anything else, before you put them in your mouth or whatever? Yeah, you would. Like, you should. I treat gluten like it's raw chicken. I tell people when I come to them, treat gluten like it's raw chicken. That's how cross-contamination works with chicken. That's how cross-contamination works with gluten as well. Wash your hands, don't touch anything.
That is so good. I love that.
And it works.
It works?
People are like, oh.
It clicks.
Oh my. That's, yeah, okay, so that's cross-contamination. So it's not when I pick a drop of or a piece of bread and put it in your tea. That's not cross-contamination. That's like full contamination. That's like, I'll be sick for a few weeks. You can find me in a bathroom somewhere, you know. It works. I can recommend.
Oh, this is really nice. Yeah, telling people about it is really difficult, and also the respect part, being respectful towards the people with celiac disease, because especially at the beginning, I want to talk about the grieving phase with you. But also people who are a bit nosy, or they think they know better than you, and they tell you stuff, and that is just so, like, I was infuriated by it. People who would come to me and say, my friends, oh, but it's like homeopathy. If you just take a little bit of gluten every day, you'll develop immunity towards it. And that's just not how it works. No. My body sees it as if, imagine like a poisonous mushroom. It is poisonous. This is what it is. It's poison, and my body sees it as poison. It will always treat it as poison.
People think it's an allergy, and they think, you know, if you're allergic to cats, you can, I don't know, sniff a cat every day, put your nose in it, you know, help it a bit.
Do something,
and it will go away. It could. I'm not saying it would, but it could go away. That's not how it works with gluten, because it's not an allergy. And a lot of people say, oh, I have gluten allergy. No, you don't. You have celiac disease. But just because a lot of people are like, it's a disease, nah. A lot of people say it's allergy because people understand what an allergy can do.
Yes.
But it makes it difficult sometimes as well.
It makes it difficult. And there are, of course, allergies. So you can be gluten allergic, you can be gluten intolerant, and you can have celiac disease. I imagine the numbers are 5% of society have one of the three of them. And 2% celiac, if I'm not mistaken. Do you know the numbers better?
Something like that, yeah.
And many people who are undiagnosed. So many. But when I go to a restaurant, people they just never heard of celiac. In most countries, in Italy, yes. In Italy,
I've heard stories about Italy. Spain is very good as well.
Spain is amazing. Portugal is behind. I was so disappointed because I thought Spain is amazing. Come on, Portugal. I love you, Portugal. And no, it was
Oh,
not so nice. No.
that's sad.
Depends. Like it's a luck game. Like yeah, depends who you're talking to. But in restaurants, I sometimes say, "How do you do?" I say, "I'm very allergic to gluten. Like I'll have a little bit of it and I can die." I'll say something
I do
like
the same
that.
thing, but otherwise they might not take it seriously. But it's annoying because you have to ask like 10 different questions. They'll be like, oh no, the fries are gluten free. They're made from potatoes. Okay, but do you have a dedicated fryer? You know? The answer is yes. Amazing. The answer is no, or even worse, what's a dedicated fryer? Okay, no, it's okay. I would just have my emergency candy bar that I always have with me, just in case.
So this is the grieving process
Yeah.
because if you're with your friends or family or work group and now everybody, you know, you're hungry because you were doing the same things as the other people probably during the day if you spent the
Yeah.
day together, for example. Now you go for dinner and everyone is so happy about the food, you smell it, you see it, it's the ambiance, but you cannot have it. So to have the strength to just say, I will have that candy bar that I've had, the same that I've had a million times in the
Yes.
past. I will have that now. It's, yeah, you really grieve that. You grieve that you're not free anymore to just go and whatever, or come, I want a beer, or just be there and wherever we decide to go because it's close, because it's easy, we can do it. No, now your life is different.
Yeah, that makes it very difficult.
How is the grieving process? How did you see also from the people that you have contact with from the groups?
Well, it's different for everyone,
Yeah.
but I think part of it will always stay with you.
Okay.
It doesn't really get easier.
Okay.
I tell myself sometimes it gets easier. No, you get used to it, but it doesn't make it easy. There's a difference. And I found that out very recently when I was at a pancake restaurant with my partner.
You
and
even went indoors.
I'm sorry?
You went into a pancake restaurant?
Yes. I called them in the morning asking, hey, I see on your website you have gluten-free, dairy-free, better. I would not recommend it though.
Oh, okay.
If I would know the name, I would probably say it just because it's not celiac safe.
Yeah.
We went there. It was amazing because they said, no, we have everything. We can do gluten-free.
Okay.
We will use clean utensils.
Yes.
Amazing. I
Okay.
got there. I ordered my pancake and I said, just to be sure, you use clean utensils because of cross-contamination. Yeah, we do. I said, amazing. So that also includes the pan, right? You know?
Aha, yeah.
No, we just, we wipe it. I said, what? Yeah, we just wipe it with a towel and then we do the next one. I said, yeah, that's not safe.
Yeah.
That's how you get sick, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
So I asked, can you maybe, get a new one, a clean one? No, we don't do that. Okay. So I sat there and everyone else already paid, already ordered.
Oh no.
So I said, please stay, eat your pancakes, enjoy. I will have my granola bar. I was so hungry. Even McDonald's can do gluten-free in the Netherlands.
Yes, they can.
So,
even the bun.
you
It's
know what?
amazing.
We went to McDonald's after, so that I also could eat something. But that's difficult, and I think that's also for a lot of people scary in relationships as well. Because dating and celiac, that's something else.
It is. It is because like if people connect the dots, if I couldn't drink from the same bottle that somebody drank the wine, that means yes, if your date was having beer, you cannot kiss.
Exactly. So you can be as attracted to someone. But yeah, if you had a nice beer or a piece of bread for lunch, good for you. I still like you. I will not kiss you.
Exactly. You just can't. So grieving is part of it, and I think what you said is so right. Like it doesn't get easier; you get used to it, and there are things that you would just then avoid doing probably. Unfortunately, right? It's just. But I remember every time there would be an outing, it was this whole thing because they would go somewhere, and it was not if it was not like a closed party where they would have the same kitchen for things at the same time, then it was even more difficult to make something gluten-free. And I remember one of those trips was a ski trip to Austria, and they would pay for everything, for the trip, for being there, for skiing, everything. Yeah, it's really amazing. But the hotel was catering to several guests, not only this group, and they make their own bread. It's a small town, so they don't, I don't know if there were bakeries around, but they would make everything there. And they wouldn't change because of a group of, I don't know, 200 people or so, or 150.
Oh my, that's a lot of people.
It's a lot of people, yes, but even though they wouldn't change their whole hotel of how many hundreds of people they would cater to because of that group. And let alone, it's not the whole group, it's 1, 2, 3 people in the end. We were 3 or 4 with celiac disease in the company. And I was the first one. So I decided that year, you know, like what you said, sitting there in that restaurant and everyone is having their thing. You were excited to eat that and you can't. I decided I don't want to be super hungry after skiing or going out. Everybody's having amazing warm food and I'm eating a sandwich that I brought with me. Or I'm, you know, and that for 3-4 days. So I said to myself, I respect myself here and I prefer not to go and not go through that. So yeah, it's one thing that, yeah, then I had to miss specifically because of celiac disease. And later on, we got more people in the company with celiac, so that helped because then we could also be a little group and talk to each other and support each other, and sometimes sharing even these pain points is good because you don't feel alone. Oh, I'm not the only one in the world going through
Yeah,
these
but
things.
that's the thing. You feel alone a lot until you realize, oh, I'm not alone.
Yeah.
There's a whole gluten-free community out there, and when you are together with those people, such an amazing feeling because you feel normal for once. Like you can eat everything and you can go to a 100% gluten-free restaurant and just, oh my god, eat bitterballen. What?
I've never had one actually.
Oh, they're very nice.
Yes.
I can, yeah, if you can ever have them, you should try. Unless you're a vegan, then you shouldn't.
Okay. Nice. What are the good things? Has anything good come out of it for you?
Yeah, and I think for me, and I think for probably everyone with celiac disease, you get answers. Mm-hmm. You're not weird. Your body is not weird. You just have an autoimmune disease.
Yeah.
So nothing is wrong with you. You just need to rearrange some things in your life. So I think that's the biggest one. Yeah. Just the answer of, oh, yeah, okay. It's not just me telling everyone, oh, I have a headache. No, I have a headache because I have a disease.
Yeah.
Amazing. So I think that's a very good thing. But just the community.
Yeah.
It helps people come together in a different way.
Yeah.
For example, when we met.
Yeah.
It was an instant thing.
Can you tell the story how we met actually? It's
very
fun.
So, it's a fun story because I was going to, we were at the Dutch Burning Man where sheep sleep. It was 2 years ago. And I was on my way to the temple.
Yes.
Because I was with a friend and they said, I have the perfect design for your Burning Man tattoo. I found it because I wanted to get a hand-poked tattoo there. So I said, amazing, okay, let's go. So we went to the temple and on our way there, I saw you, I think, or you saw me with the tattoos, and one of us complimented the other, oh my god, I love your tattoo.
Because I remember that I said something about your tattoo too. And we were just passing, right?
I was just passing.
Yeah, I was on the floor having snacks.
You were having snacks, yeah, and the good ones. So I said, thank you, I saw your tattoo.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my god, that's amazing. And then I saw the snacks, and then I had to know. It was like, I have to know, are those just snacks that you bought because you didn't know there were other snacks that were much cheaper? Or did you buy them because you have celiac disease? Because that's a gluten-free brand. And I think that's when something happened.
Yeah.
And we exchanged numbers.
Yes, right on the spot was so cute. And I was like, yes, take it.
I had one. It was a very good cookie.
Oh,
it was a very good cookie.
The coconut ones,
Yeah, the
right?
with a little drizzle of dark chocolate on them.
So good, so good.
And that's what celiac also does. It brings people together. It gives you something you have in common. And everyone needs to eat, but you have something different. So you don't have to feel special. And you know what it is? There's always this little voice inside your head saying, oh, is it safe?
Yeah.
Is it truly gluten-free?
Yeah.
Did they make it in a celiac safe way?
Yeah.
But when you're with other celiacs, or you're even in a gluten-free home, you don't have that voice.
Yeah.
It just
Yeah, it's calm.
it
yeah.
gets quiet, and that's amazing. Just the whole, I can be just myself instead of
so good.
myself and celiac.
And celiac.
That's
absolutely.
just
For me, it also has taught me some lessons.
tell me.
So there are a couple of things that I've learned having celiac disease, and one of them is patience. Like you need so much patience because every time you have to go through the same script on the restaurant for a party, and you just cannot get ahead of yourself. You know, you have to start the beginning, and you have to have an interesting mixture of being humble, being empathetic with the person also who's working there or who's serving you in any sense. And you can't be like too demanding.
No.
Even though it's like a disease and you would expect like that people should just do these small changes because in the end they're very small, but they make the whole difference for us. You can't just be, like, oh, you have to do this, or you have to provide me with this, or how could you not? You just can't. So there's so much patience in there.
Yes. And you always get the same questions. We have a vegan burger.
Yes.
You can eat no, honey. That's something else.
Yes.
I want a vegan burger if it's gluten-free. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, I also get it. Like, is it gluten-free? No, it doesn't have any milk in it. It's fine. Like, that's not a question.
Thank you for that, but no.
So maybe two final topics I would love to discuss with you is relationships.
Oh, yes.
How to navigate that.
Oh, yeah.
Having celiac disease and traveling with celiac disease.
Oh, nice.
Which one do you want to start with?
Traveling, because I feel like that's the most recent one for me.
Oh, tell me about it.
Well, it was because we organized with the Celiactive. It was the last thing I did as a member of their board. After that, I started my own group. I started a 30-something group. Also from the Dutch Celiac Association, but then just for the 30-something people. But right before that, we had Celiac Youth Europe coming over. 50 people between 18 and 30, and they just came to the Netherlands for a week. And we had an amazing time, and they learned a lot about the Netherlands, of course, and they got to eat a lot of Dutch stuff.
Gluten-free, yes.
But it was so amazing to have 50 different people all together, united by a disease, and they were just telling all these kinds of stories about their own, about their home countries, about
how is it?
How life is in, well, name a country, how is it over there, how is it over there. That was so beautiful to hear all the stories and still have a lot of similar things going on. For example, the Greens, so that was just beautiful. And then after the camp finished, and it's almost a year later, and there are people still asking, hey, I am in, I don't know,
this country.
I'm in France. Is there anyone who would like to meet? Is there anyone who has some tips for me?
Oh, so nice.
That's so awesome. And I think with the different apps that there are, so like Find Me Gluten-Free, there's a whole world there for us to explore. There's a whole gluten-free happening going on, and you have to know about it. But there's so many possibilities. You just have to be willing to be out there, put yourself out there. Just go and find them. Google it.
Don't lock yourself at home.
No,
like, don't
you
stop
can travel.
traveling.
I didn't know.
Oh, really?
I didn't know I could travel until 23.
Oh,
so 2 years ago,
Whoa.
there was this presentation at the Dutch Celiac Day.
Okay.
And my group did a presentation, and I was just looking because I wanted to know, can I travel with celiac?
Yeah.
I got so many answers. And the biggest one was, yes, you can travel.
Yes, you go.
Right after that, I said to my partner, okay, let's go.
Yeah.
We can go to another country. We don't have to stay in the Netherlands. We can go to Spain. We went to Spain. We went to Disneyland.
No.
It was fine. Yes, you
so
can go to Disneyland
good.
when you have celiac. It's difficult, but it's doable.
Yeah, in France, right? I went to the Parisian one. Yeah.
Yeah.
France was a big surprise to me because
Yeah.
I thought, you know, this is the place French cuisine. So like they're on top of the food system, right?
They're
No.
not.
Yeah,
they're not. No.
Very
No.
hard. So if you go to France, like choose restaurants that explicitly talk about making a gluten-free menu. Because you know there are the two ways of doing it, right? You can either
Yeah.
go to a normal restaurant and ask for accommodations or ask for food that is originally gluten-free, but
Yeah.
then they have to watch out. Or you go to gluten-free restaurants or also restaurants that have the two menus, so they're ready for you. And yeah, in France, they will not accommodate, or if they will, once in France, I got my plate redone 4 times. 4 times, Charlotte. It was
No.
Yes, they
4
brought
times is so many times.
it's so many times because I talk about all the aspects, and it comes and it has like a sauce, and then I ask,
Oh dear.
okay, but what about the sauce? Does it have this and this and that? Does it have soy sauce? And then the waitress is like, and then bring back the thing, and then come back, and then I just noted the 4th time, it was just the fish, wasn't really grilled
Just
or
a
anything,
plain fish.
and white rice. I'm like, okay, I'm settling. This is what I'll
It's
have.
safe. It's probably safe, but
Yeah.
it's probably a little bit yucky as well.
Yeah, so in France it was quite difficult. Spain is amazing, like you
Yeah.
said, like I
They
don't
know what they're doing.
They know what they're doing, and they're also very happy to do it for you and accommodate. So there is this willingness, which is such a big deal of the whole thing.
The willingness, yes.
And sometimes it's just, yeah, when I would get a bit upset, I wouldn't say angry, but just upset, would be when I notice, oh, this person is really not willing to help. I was feeling like it's not that difficult. And one answer that I would get a lot in the Netherlands actually was, listen, we cannot promise you it's gluten-free.
Oh yeah, they're very, very scared they might get a lawsuit or anything.
Yes, and I'm like, listen, I understand that. I just want to know if you're really paying attention, or if, because they would say, yeah, it's gluten-free, but we cannot guarantee. And yeah, it's very hard because of course we're dealing with humans, and I'm just trying to have a meal. What about traveling? Have you experienced other kind of countries? Have you gone outside of Europe, for example?
No, I haven't been outside of Europe, but
Okay.
I want to go to America maybe next year or the year after that. So
Okay,
I already
good.
asked someone I know from the Gluten-Free Society, and I asked them, what about Disney World?
Yeah, oh,
Can
you have
I-
a thing for Disney.
Can I? Because, you know, Team Disney.
Yeah.
And they said, oh yes, let me send you some tips. And then this guy, he got me a list
Oh,
with some tips, so that's nice.
amazing.
Yeah. So
Good.
America, and yeah, I heard some good stories about that.
Nice.
So that's nice. I'm looking forward to that. And I went to Athens 2 years ago
Mm-hmm.
for the Dutch European Assembly,
Yes.
which was amazing. And of course we went out,
Yeah.
and you know we were there a few hours before everything started in the evening, and we had to find lunch somewhere. Oh my God, it's amazing.
What was it?
10
good
out of
there?
10.
Yeah?
I would go to Athens. It felt like there was something dedicated gluten-free on
Oh.
almost every corner.
No way! Didn't
There was
know
this
that.
dedicated gluten-free bakery
Oh,
that of
so
course we
good.
went to. I had this amazing olive bread. And
good.
there was this whole dedicated gluten-free, well, like authentic Greek restaurant. And they had this
Yes.
amazing vegan, what's it called? Moussaka.
Okay.
And it was all gluten-free, and it was a vegan,
good.
and it was so good. And then we went there again the day after, but
Of
then
course.
with everyone, like with the whole party. They just rented the
Oh,
whole restaurant for us, and we
oh,
had the authentic Greek music and everything. It was so cool. So yes, I
Amazing.
would really recommend
Oh,
Athens
nice.
as
Good
well.
to know. Good
There's
to
a lot
know.
of awareness,
Yeah.
and I was talking to someone, an owner from a Greek restaurant near my place, and they
Mhm.
have a lot of gluten-free stuff as well. And she said, yeah, but we don't really use gluten a lot. So yeah, Greece is a very safe place to go to. So
Oh, okay. They don't. They don't have a lot of bread, no.
no, they're not very big on the whole gluten thing, apparently.
Amazing. Oh,
So
So
yeah,
good.
Athens, I would really recommend it. France, no,
Really
yeah,
nice.
yeah.
No.
Um,
Italy is a very good one because of the awareness.
yeah, yes, I'm hearing a lot of good stories about Italy.
Yes, Italy is so good. I just say sono celiac, and they're like, yes. They kind of scream to the kitchen, celiac qui.
Amazing!
And they
Oh my
just do
God.
everything so good. Like that is like one of the hidden good things, because you then get a little connection with the waiters, for example, the people working in the restaurant, because you have a conversation. You're not just
Yeah.
ordering, so they know about you. Like if you're in a hotel, they will know you.
They
because-
want you to feel good
Yeah,
as
that's
well.
so nice.
When they know, they know. They want to make you feel good, and I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
that's so awesome.
Yeah,
It's just
yeah.
heartwarming.
So good. Also very good for traveling is Scandinavia.
Yeah.
I've experienced more of Sweden for it, but I know of the whole Scandinavia
Okay.
being good because, well, everything is very expensive in Scandinavia. And
Yeah.
one of the points is that you cannot hire at least in Sweden, you cannot hire a person for working in a restaurant yeah, especially restaurants, bakeries maybe also, but all restaurants
Yeah.
that has not gone through a training.
I love that.
So
I love that.
So
That's
you cannot,
amazing.
yes, so you cannot just hire somebody to waiter there, you know, it has to be somebody who went through that training. And I think there are several technical things about how to do the job, but part of it is allergies.
Yes.
They know what are the allergies, the big ones, you know, the smaller ones, all of them. And they also know about cross-contamination.
Amazing.
So if you go to any restaurant in Sweden, they will know. You don't get the, oh, but it has milk or something, you know, like they will know, okay, this is what we can
That's
do,
so
this is what we
awesome.
cannot do.
It's just, it feels like, you know, just giving someone a basic
Yeah,
knowledge
Yeah.
or training.
yeah.
In a way, it's this tiny act of kindness.
Oh, yes. That's a big act of kindness in the end, right?
Yeah.
Goes a long way.
It means a lot.
Yeah.
If you know
it's also
something, if you
nice.
just buy cookies for someone and you leave them closed and you give the cookies to the person saying, these are for you, you can open them yourself because I know that is going to make you feel safe.
Oh, so cute. Yeah.
That's what my boyfriend's mom, she always does that. She buys me cookies.
Oh.
She doesn't open them. She just gives them to me. These are your cookies.
Oh,
I'm like, I
that's
love
so
you for that. That's so
sweet.
kind. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
That's just
Yeah.
so, it's amazing that they do that there.
They
That's
do.
amazing.
And I have a story about Sweden as well.
Tell me.
I went to the upper north all the way to Stockholm and the lower parts as well of Sweden. So I've really been around
Nice.
there. And it was really in the north, in the city called Umeå.
Yeah.
We were in a very fancy restaurant
Okay.
with the whole family. So it was 30 people, a huge table.
Ooh. Yeah, those are a lot of people.
A lot of people.
Wow.
And they're doing, it was, I don't remember what we were celebrating. We were celebrating something, I don't remember.
Nice.
And they were bringing, the several courses. So they brought, and they knew about me, they knew where I was sitting, all of that. I talked to the people, and at the end, one of the final courses was a little thing with like curved potatoes. It was a very nice restaurant, so something fancy.
Okay.
A curved potato that was fried. And I ate it. And you know, like I've talked to them so many times. I have such a good experience with Sweden. So I was like, yeah, I can trust them. But after I ate it, it's like almost my body recognized. So my body was like, was this really fried somewhere else? So I just called the person and I asked, hey, I actually just ate, there were like 2 potatoes. So I showed this potato, I ate already one. Was this actually fried separately? And I just saw her face, just like she went blank. She just like, I'm gonna check. And she goes into the kitchen and she tells, and I swear to you, the chef of the kitchen called the whole staff of the restaurant and they had a meeting there to talk about how could they let this happen. That they knew I'm celiac and yet they served me like 2 tiny fried potatoes that were fried with everything else.
To make you very sick.
Luckily, I didn't get sick.
Amazing.
Yes, I didn't. But you never know. Like you said, it can also be something else. And yeah.
Sometimes you don't even notice it. Something is happening in your body, but
yeah, exactly.
That's with so many symptoms.
Yes. So I didn't notice anything. However, they were so concerned about the whole thing.
Oh.
And they came, they apologized. I think the lady who was serving us and then the chef as well came.
Yeah.
and then they said, we cannot, by law, we cannot serve alcohol for free in Sweden. So we cannot not charge you for the alcohol that was consumed, but all these 30 people are not paying.
That's a big apology.
Right?
Wow.
And this is taking it seriously.
That's
really
so beautiful.
Seriously. They understood, like, oh, we knew about this deal that we have a customer who has something special, and we yet served her. She trusted us, and we still gave her something that is poisonous. And they took full responsibility. That was impressive.
Owning up to it. Not everyone does that.
No.
She's like, oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah, there were gluten. I'm so sorry. You know what? I will get you a free glass of wine.
Yeah.
Well, I think something like that is, and it's not about giving something away for free. It's about the thing behind it, the movement behind it. Like, we're sincerely sorry for what's happening. It's not just, oh my God, okay, we might get a lawsuit. We have to prevent that. No, it's like, are you okay?
Yes.
We messed up. We're so sorry. That's so beautiful.
Exactly. So yeah, I can recommend that. And last year I also did another quite, adventurous trip.
Okay.
Yes, I went to Ghana in Africa.
Oh, okay.
And I went there for dancing. So my whole thing was like, I'm gonna go, and this is my goal, and I can nourish myself from fruits, from rice. I knew that I would have our shared kitchen, but at least I had a kitchen so I could watch out with my stuff. And it was such a surprise because the Ghanaians, first, they don't have flour really. They use cassava, manioc.
Oh, that's good.
So everything is already sort of gluten-free by default. And they were so kind and so like paying attention and listening and thinking with me and assuring me. So yeah, I really can recommend. Ghana is a perfect country for many, many reasons, but also for gluten-free.
Amazing.
Yeah,
I've heard stories about Bali as well.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, I saw on someone's Instagram a few days ago, they were in Bali and they just had this whole breakfast tray, and then they were like going to lunch somewhere and there was all this beautiful food. I was just looking at it like, oh my. Okay, this really opens.
Especially breakfast. So relationships. You mentioned about, so it's your mother-in-law who does the cookies, right? That's also a type of relationship, but the loved ones, those kind of relationships, dating. How has it been for you? Any tips on that? Or how can we also advise people the street smarts of dating and having celiac disease?
Yeah, I just put it in my Tinder bio. Like, I'm gluten-free. Google it.
Yes.
That was basically what I did. And then every time when I was matched with someone, I would just tell them.
Yeah.
Not straight away, but yeah, probably the first day while talking, I would tell them, I have to tell you something. I have celiac disease. It's a lot. I will send you some links. Look it up. If that's not for you, no hard feelings, but I want you to know it's very serious. I could get very sick from one kiss. So this is what you're signing up for, if you're signing up for it.
Yes. And this is so good that you say, hey, it's a lot. Like, and if you're not in for it, because you cannot compromise, you know, as a celiac person, you cannot compromise. If your partner or the person you're dating is not taking care of you and being understanding that you will not be able to eat at some place, that you will have to make different arrangements or something, sorry, but the relationship is not worth it.
No, it's so difficult. And especially when, for example, I have a partner and they do eat gluten, and in their house as well. So I have my own safe places there and my own cutting boards that I use and everything. So that's nice.
Yeah.
And I have my own drawer where I just put all my bread and everything. Same thing for the freezer.
Yes.
So that's nice. That feels very safe. But if they had gluten and we would have lunch somewhere, we cannot kiss for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
So it's difficult with intimacy though, because you cannot be spontaneously. You have to say, did you brush your teeth?
Yeah.
Because I cannot kiss you. I cannot do anything.
Yeah.
So that's difficult. But
it is.
On the other hand, when you explain it to people and they understand. That's also awesome, because they're like, okay, but I choose you. So you have this little default thingy.
Yeah.
That's okay. We can make it work.
Yeah.
So up
nice.
until now, so I've had celiac for 5 years now.
Yeah.
Every person that I dated, that I matched with on Tinder, they were all, okay, you have celiac. We can make it work.
Nice.
That's very nice. So I have a steady relationship now for 2.5 years.
Oh,
and
congrats. Nice.
he glutened me once.
It
By
happened.
accident. It happened. And
Also happened with my partner. It happened
was-
with the best people.
I think we were about a month in the relationship, and he has this wooden cutboard that you put on your counter, and you can leave it there.
Yes.
Terrible thing. I hate it. My guts hate it. Everything hates it. And apparently, we were having these like green beans,
Okay.
and he put them on there. He cut them on there or something. So they were on there for maybe 3 minutes, and the thingy was clean. But yes, there's always crumbs, everything with gluten on there as well.
Yeah,
so it's,
and the
it's
wood
not safe.
absorbs. Yeah.
Exactly. So a few days later,
Oh, no.
I didn't know anything. I didn't know
Oh,
about it.
no.
Otherwise, I
Yes.
would not have eaten it, of course.
Yeah.
I texted him and I said, yeah, I think I got gluten somewhere. I'm not feeling great. And then he said, oh yeah, I think I might have done that.
Oh, good that he came forward. Yeah.
So
That's
he was like,
honest.
yeah, I think it was me. So he explained what happened. I was like, yeah, you glutened me. But then, in a way, it was good, because then he could also see what's happening if she gets glutened. What's the next step going to be? But also, it's a lot of awareness. Like, oh, okay, this is what happens if she gets glutened. Let's not make it happen anymore.
Yeah.
So he's very careful when we go out, when we go to his family, especially his dad's side. He's very careful around them, and he's always explaining things, and that's very nice. So I would advise people to find your person.
Yes.
In a way, make sure that they are also willing to fight for your health, because it's not a choice. People seem to forget it, but it's not a choice. So make the choice. Pick someone who is willing to fight for you and for your health, and who is willing to say no for your sake. I think that's very important.
Absolutely. And honestly, if they're like, oh, I will never be able to have pizza at home with this person, and gluten pizza is so much better than gluten-free pizza.
Yeah.
Is this relationship then, like, is
it
your
worth having gluten-free pizza for? Yes. Okay,
yes,
cool.
Exactly.
Let's go.
You should be the person that they're dating, not the food that you're having together. It's about you as a person and what you can have together that goes much beyond food. And to be honest, there's amazing gluten-free recipes and amazing gluten-free varieties.
There's so much. There are dedicated gluten-free restaurants you can go to, and you don't even have to tell people it's dedicated gluten-free. Just go. They might not even notice that you order something without the whole package.
Exactly.
So and you just need to be careful when you want to kiss someone when you go out. Yeah.
Exactly. Oh, so lovely, Charlotte. Any major street smarts that you would share with somebody who maybe just discovered about celiac disease, or are going through the grieving process?
Yeah. Speak up for yourself. It's not worth it. Getting gluten is not worth it. When you feel shy, when you feel like a nag because you have to stand up for yourself, just remember, getting gluten is not worth it. I think that's the biggest thing. Standing up for yourself is the most important thing. It's a weird saying, but you know your truth. You know how sick you get. No one else does. They maybe see it. They do not feel it. Stick up for yourself. How hard it is, and you're not alone. I think those are the most important too.
People in the Netherlands, can they reach out to those groups that you mentioned?
Yes. So you can become.
I love the
yes. You can become a member of the Dutch Celiac Society.
Okay.
And then there is the youth group. So for people between 18 and 28. For kids, there are gluten-free camps, which are amazing. I was there last year, making it all work. I'm going to do it again this year. It's amazing.
Okay.
So for kids, yes, go to a nice camp, make some friends. If you are young adult, go to Celiactive, have the time of your life.
So that's the name of the group, right?
That's the name of the group. If you're in your 30s, please come to the Gluten-Free 30-something group.
And where can people find those groups?
You can email us or just find us on Instagram.
What is the Instagram handle?
For the Gluten-Free something...
30-something?
Yeah, for the 30-something group, it's glutenvrije dertigers. So basically gluten-free 30 people.
Okay.
For Celiactive, it's Celiactive.
Okay.
And for the Dutch Celiac Society, it's the Nederlandse Celiakievereniging.
Ooh, okay.
So that's a lot, but yeah. Just Google it. You will
Amazing.
find us.
Really
you will
good.
Find
Yeah,
us.
don't be shy.
Yeah.
Just go for it. Thank you so much. It was such a pleasure.
Thank you so
It
much
was
for
amazing.
having me. I really love talking about celiac
So good,
and
right?
all the things around
Exactly.
it. And just telling people it's
we can
not
fill
just...
an hour so easily.
Oh my.
Yeah. And again, speaking about the good points of the disease so today, absolutely one. Thank you so much. So lovely meeting you with a cookie story and now.